now it's time to bring in another guest with another big game on Friday night and a big season still to play here for his team. We're delighted to be joined by the Snider Panthers with Landen Fry, the linebacker senior. Landen, thanks for joining us here tonight on Upon Further Review.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So first of all, the bounce back last week versus Homestead at home at Spooler, a tough one a couple weeks ago against Carroll, but you get back right on the winning side of things, 35-0. I mean, just the ability to bounce back for this Snider team in the last week. Just talk about what that win has done for you guys, especially after 2 weeks ago with that tough loss at Carroll.
It's done a lot for us, I would say. People going into it didn't think that we could compete with those 6A teams from the beginning of the year, but with the rain and stuff, Coach Tibb was preaching all week. Handle the situation, or the situation will handle you, which was the weather Friday night, and I think we handled that situation pretty well.
Yeah, you guys get the big win, 35-0. And for you, I mean, you're a linebacker for the most part, and maybe one of the leading tacklers, you and Brandon Logan up there going back and forth. But hey, you got on the offensive side of things. Just talk about that little wrinkle that you guys were able to bring out. You caught a touchdown pass, and is that your first one in high school? Is that right?
Yeah, I think first caught touchdown pass. I've had a running
First caught
touchdown
on
pass
the
last year.
offensive side of things, your
Yeah.
first offensive touch. Talk me through that. I mean, how special was that? And to get that call in the huddle and to know they have the opportunity to do something like that, such a big atmosphere as the Snider Homestead game.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Boot pass is one of the big calls for Snyder. Call that a lot. So getting out there and running out to the flat, and nobody was covering me, and see the end zone, just run in it. And then I would really just say, playing on the offensive side of the ball, our offense wasn't really clicking from the start of the year. So putting me in and adding a different wrinkle, adding something that other opposing teams didn't see, was definitely
Mhm.
something for them to change, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, we had your game 2 weeks ago, and while the scoreboard didn't reflect as a team that night for you guys in a positive light, you probably had one of your better games of the year because I saw you making a lot of plays against Carroll, and speak a little bit about that because, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just felt that night you as an individual, and I know it's a team game and stuff, but you just seemed to flash a lot on Friday night against Carroll and made a lot of plays.
Yeah, I would definitely say being in the loop the past 2 years, I've gotten better. And yeah, I think I would say I had 16 or 17 tackles Friday night. So, or last Friday night. So that was pretty awesome. I mean, Carroll was a good offense. And then I would say the scoreboard definitely did not reflect the way of the game. I mean, Coach Tibb was talking after the game, and he really liked our effort and how we didn't give up. They just made some good plays and got in the end zone. So hats off to them and their offense.
Well, you mentioned that the coaches decided to make some uh, decisions to change some wrinkles here and there, and offense struggled against Carroll. Some of that was Carroll's defense, not just the offense, but Carroll's defense too. But that's the one thing about you guys as a whole, as well as the coaching staff there. You may have an outing that may not go your way, but at the end of the day, they're just not going to say, "Oh well." They're going to find ways to get better and make your guys better and giving you the best opportunity to win. And it sounds like they made just enough adjustments to really catapult you guys on Friday night.
Yeah, a lot of things that we worked on this week in practice. We didn't really get beat because of the physicality factor. It was
Mm-hmm.
like little technical things. So in this week in practice, we were working on more of those technical things and those little things that can help us come out with the win each Friday night. And then I would definitely say, going out there and beating Homestead, we knew we had to win that game to maybe take a share in the SAC championship. So we had to go out there and take that win away from Homestead.
Well, you still got the outside chance of being in there. The other thing that is probably even more possible than anything is that you may face this Carroll team again once the tourney rolls around. And you guys have basically been competing in different sectionals and things of that nature, but you may get a second shot
Yeah, definitely.
at Carroll. Would you welcome a second shot?
Oh yeah, 100%. After the game and the score, we were like, we'll see these guys again in sectionals. We'll be all right. We'll make our adjustment throughout the week, and then our main goal is be playing our best football by week 10, and we're in a good run for that right now.
What are you looking at? This is your senior year, correct? You graduate this. What are you looking to? I think you're committed to IU in baseball, correct?
Yep, correct.
Is that your first passion, or is that just the sport you just happen to be really good in, or both?
Yeah, that's my first passion, but the season I had last year and the season I had this year, a lot of people are telling me that I maybe need to try for football at the next level too. So we'll see where that takes me. And
Well, it's maybe something to contemplate. I certainly wouldn't tell you not to, because there are opportunities out there that maybe IU will lend itself to you. But I think when we had Brandon on here a year ago, I told him the same thing, and lo and behold, look what happened to him.
Yeah. Because I long snap too for Snider, so Coach Ike is the long snapping coach. So he said he might send in a video of me long snapping to them and see what happens.
Absolutely.
See where it goes. So we'll see.
Yeah. The defense, Landen. We almost said Brandon. Brandon on your, and you guys are good friends. You guys, I mean, in fact, back to the baseball point, national champions 17U with the Canes Midwest. Brandon's on your team. I think Purnell Wetset from Northrop and all of that. So a lot of talent. You guys play together for probably a long time. You and Brandon on Snider football and the defense as a whole. I mean, how good is this Snider defense? Just man to man, talent to talent, guy lining up, in that secondary.
Yeah, we're pretty good, and we know that. We just know that we have to go out there each Friday and do our best and come out with the win each Friday. But yeah, I would say we're good. We're not the biggest defense, but we definitely are fast and we fly around to the ball, and that's what is a big success with our defense because we fly around and make plays, and not too many defenses do that.
Sure. The state championship a year ago, what did that mean for this team, for you guys that are able to come back? I mean, to win a state championship is the ultimate, right? But you still have high school football play. What does that do for you win a state championship? You're one of 3 teams in Snider's history to do so. To come back now, what was the message coming out of that state championship with so many key guys coming back, and you guys moving up a class in 6A?
I would say it means a lot because the way we won our state championship last year was kind of in an easy fashion. So like the guys that played in the state championship last year knows like all the work that you have to put in to win a state championship. But then from those young guys coming in, those outsiders looking in, they just think that, oh yeah, we won it so easy, and that they can do it as well. But I think that's what we're struggling with right now is some of the young guys aren't buying in, and I think throughout this past week in practice and going forward, Fort Worth, we're going to step up and hopefully win another state championship this year in Class 6A.
Sure. Looking ahead to your schedule real quick. Northrop this weekend, then finishing up with Dwanger and Wayne before sectional play. A lot of important football left to be played in the regular season. A lot of things can happen with some other teams in the league. Just that mentality of continuing to improve and show what you got as a leader, a captain of this group. Just talk to us about the overall where this Snider team is halfway through the season?
I would say we're pretty much where we want to be at halfway through the season. We go into every single game thinking we don't care who we're playing. We're just playing for us and trying to get better for us so we can, like I said, be playing our best football by week 10 and hopefully make a big run.
Absolutely. Well, Landon, we appreciate you coming on tonight. And well, real quick, why IU baseball? I mean, Big Ten, big time, big stage, all of that. I mean, again, that opportunity for you, not football, baseball, that opportunity to play a high level as such a great athlete. Just talk about your decision to go play at IU.
Yeah, that presented itself early. I would definitely say Coach Mercer is the head coach at IU right now. He came in, I would say, 5 to 6 years now from Wright State, and he's definitely turned the program around. They've had a lot of success this past few years. A lot of the stuff that he preaches, I preach well too, and he's big on family and all that. The facilities are great, and it's just a place where I think I can excel at and hopefully take my talents to the next level.
Absolutely. And a heck of a mustache you got there too, kid. I wish I could do that. And I mean, anyway, but I digress. Well, we appreciate you coming on this week on Upon Further Review and joining us to talk about the Snider Panthers and the season you guys have had and your future. We certainly wish you and the Panthers the best of luck the rest of the way, and best of luck to you in the future at IU. And I know we'll be hearing a lot about you and from you in the years to come.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good luck, Landon.
That was Landen Fry, the linebacker turned sometimes receiver, tight end, rollout, catch, touchdowns, 2 receptions, 34 yards, and a touchdown on the year. So an added wrinkle. And Coach, I mean, I think we talked about that. You know, we saw a little bit in the scrimmage with Homestead this earlier this year with Brandon Logan getting involved in some of the offense and things. And when you have major D1 talent, a Landen Fry who's going to go play baseball at IU, Landon Hepner, Leo, who's going to play football at West Point, Stratton Fuller, Brandon Logan, who's headed to Notre Dame in 2 sports. You're going to use him more than just to say, okay, linebacker, sit there at middle linebacker and tackle the guy that's coming right at you. You're going to use that. And we saw some of those video clips. He's got speed. And he's soft-spoken, as we saw in the interview, but out on that field, he's a ferocious competitor, and it really shows. And he's definitely a leader of that Snider football team.
Well, the both times that we had him at East Noble in the weather game that ultimately got postponed until Saturday, and then the Carroll game. He definitely stood out for them as a football player. He makes a lot of tackles. He can play sideline to sideline as a linebacker, and he's not afraid to go north and south and step up and take you on in the hole either. So he's a prototypical Snider linebacker if you ever saw one. They've taken him maybe and done some things that they did with Rohrbacher a year ago. Remember, he played some fullback, and they used to use him in the passing game because he had really good hands. So I just think it'll be a continuation with him as they go through the next 3 weeks and look to build upon what maybe he can do for them as they go through the next 3 weeks of the season, preparing for the first round of sectionals coming up here in the latter part of October. So he's a football player. There's no question about it. I mean, I can't say I have seen him play baseball, but you don't get a Big Ten scholarship offer if you're not a kid that they A, really want, and B, may have Major League Baseball draftable aspects to it as well. So we'll have to see what happens this year. Who knows? He may get drafted before he ends up at IU. There's a lot of things ahead for that young man, and I'm glad that he's playing 2 sports. And but we know that going to IU to play baseball and IU's success in baseball over the last few years has really been good. So there's an opportunity for him, and hopefully he'll earn that opportunity to do what he wants and get to that next level if that's what he so chooses to do.
Yeah, and I pulled it up here as I was kind of alluding to during that interview. He's part of the Canes Midwest program. This is from his Instagram page. They won the couple different championships this summer, but one of the championships they won was the 17U championship for PBR baseball, which was pretty cool. And so he's a heck of a baseball player. Two-time all conference, like I mentioned. And like I said, when you're able, what did he say? 2 years ago that he committed to IU. So, I mean, as a sophomore, I mean, and so, anytime I think there's still, we live in this age where, it's transfer portal and there's NIL and it's just constant upheaval. And we may get to a point where the prestige of colleges, their names and stuff don't matter as much, but we're not to that point yet. And so when I hear somebody, is committed to IU for baseball or a lot of these other programs, that makes me notice. And so I heard about Landen Fry a couple years back just because of that. I wouldn't have been able to tell him on the street, but I knew Landen Fry at Snider, committed to IU baseball, playing football and baseball. Oh yeah, that's a good athlete without even knowing really who he was. And then, what he's been able to do as a football player too. And the funny thing is we didn't really mention it to talk to him because it was like, but he was the one. You talk about coach, and you were a coach a long time. When Snider won the state championship, it was 7-6 at halftime, and they won 33-6. And I asked him on the field after the game, postseason, out with the blue medal around his neck. I said, Landen, what was the difference in the second half? And he said, hydration and conditioning.
Yeah.
And if that's not a Snider football answer that I've ever heard one at the state, it wasn't, well, we got this fiery speech from Ike or Tip or, the captains all, said, let's go and put their hand through a wall. No, it was, we drank more water all season long, which is literally on posters all over the Snider locker room. And that proved a difference. These guys work hard year in and year out. And yes, they won the state championship a year ago, but you can tell in that interview, there's more to be done. There's more to be played. Their hunger for a new year is still there. And I think we see that. And